Well, good morning, and I hope you're all well, and I hope your painting is going as you would like it to go. Well, in answer to a request by Simon Evans, and for anybody else that's interested, here is a review of everything I've painted thus far. This is all for the British, and I'm filming this in the kitchen actually because the lighting was too poor at the painting table. I tried a couple of days ago to film this and the lighting was too poor at the painting table, so we progressed to the kitchen. So I hope this turns out as good as can be with the facilities that I've got, which is not great. But anyhow, we'll go for it and we'll see what happens. We'll start off with infantry. Somebody going outside, they're banging the door as usual. We'll start off with the infantry, and we have 4 battalions of infantry. And we'll start with the latest one, which is the 95th Rifles. And what I'll do is I will hopefully zoom in on that. Oh, going the wrong way. Here we go. Just so you can get a better idea of how they've turned out, which is actually pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with these. I'm especially pleased with that guy there with the standard. That's come out pretty well. Hope you can see that. Really pleased with that flag. That's as good as I'm going to get it. So that's the 95th Rifles, and behind them is, if I can move this, is the Duke of Cornwall's battalion, which are figures by Airfix. So they get a lot of stick. Airfix figures, they get a lot of stick, particularly on the Plastic Soldier Review site. They get a lot of stick, but never discount lesser figures, because the old adage comes true time and again. You can take an average figure and you can give it a reasonable paint job, and they are more than suitable. Come on, focus. They are more than suitable for the gaming table. Here we go, that's it. I'm not a cameraman, as you can understand, folks. Next, we have 46 South Devonshire Battalion. That is by Eshe. Those figures are by Eshe. Again, not the greatest figures in the world, but they're more than adequate for the gaming table. If you give them a half decent paint job, they're more than fine. And behind those we have the 11th North Devon Battalion, if I can zoom out. Yeah, there we go. Same thing again, brown, grey trousers, red jackets. And these are by Hat, which again, give them a reasonable paint job and they're okay. And these have the earlier style chateau on them. So that's the 4 battalions of infantry we've done, which we're pleased with. Still another 6 to go, but we'll get there. We'll get there. And behind the infantry, we have a contingent of Scots Greys cavalry by Eshe, which are quite acceptable figures. They're quite nice figures. I can see me painting more of them. I mean, they're more than adequate for the gaming table. I mean, nothing wrong with them at all. They do need the bases, a bit of gardening on the bases, but that's nothing they can't do. And next to the Scots Greys, we have a little contingent of Russian Cossacks. Now, you will forgive me, but I have forgotten who made these figures. Trying not to get in your way here. But they're quite nice figures. Come on, focus up. Focus up. See if I can get these in focus. There you go. There you go. More than acceptable figures again, but you will forgive me. I have forgotten who made those figures. And then going on from that, we have half a dozen mounted rocket troopers. If I can just move this camera. There we go. You can just see at the back here some mounted rocket troopers. And these are sort of, I guess you would say, sort of homemade by me, out of Airfix Royal Artillery drivers and Airfix British Hussars horses. I just saw these mounted rocket troopers in a book and thought I would like to have some of them, so I made half a dozen up, which proves what you can do if you put your mind to it. And then moving on from them, we have, let's see if I can zoom in here a bit. Yeah, you can just see them. A couple of artillery pieces. These are by Airfix. I do a lot of Airfix stuff, folks, but I do like the British gunners. Let's see if I can focus this in. There you go. Yeah, they turn out nice. They turn out nice. And on the basis of these, I don't know if you can see this, I tried, yeah, you could just see it there. I tried using sand for the base. I've tried different mediums for bases, and I tried sand on these, which I'm going to go over with some filler because I don't like the sand. So that's our artillery. Oh, we have, let's move over here. Behind the Cossacks there you can see a 6-horse gun and limber. That's one of the Airfix packs, which is very nice. Looks good when it's done. I'm not sure that I'll do too many of these, but one or two is okay. I actually have a lot of them. I have packets of those 6-horse limbers. but I don't know how many I'll do, I'm sure. And then getting towards the back, if I can move up there, here we go, a lot of rocket troops. These are by, gotta think who these are by now, Hat. These are by Hat. And I put them on individual bases, which are actually drinks coasters made of cork. So see if we can, see if I can get that to focus. Ah, there you go, there you go. I gotta tell you folks, putting these together, these rocket firing things were a wretched nuisance to put together, but yeah, I got there in the end. I found when I was reading about these rocket troops, they would fire the rockets in sort of 3 different positions: ground firing, mid firing, and high firing. And for the high firing, they would jack the thing up on poles using one of the little wagons. So that's what I've sort of replicated here. Made up a couple of poles and jacked it up on one of the wagons. It's a nice pack, actually, by Hat. They give you 4 wagons and all the rocket troopers, but they don't give you any horses or limber to pull one of the wagons. So, me personally, I would rather have 3 wagons and some horses and a limber to pull one of the wagons. But anyhow, as you can see at the back, we made a horse and limber out of one of the wagons. We converted one of the wagons to a limber and got some, come here, got some horses from the Airfix British artillery and made some poles for the centre to go down the centre, and we put it together, so we now have a limber to pull one of the wagons, and we put a little bit of mud on the wheels. You will excuse me if this is a bit sort of wobbly. I'm doing this sort of ad hoc, this review. My facilities for filming are not great, as you can appreciate, but see if we can get that to focus a bit. We're pretty pleased with this little limber team. Quite happy with that, and it's nice to have something that's not bog standard from a box, something I put together. So, very pleased. And here's a mid-firing rocket in the mid-firing position. Try and get this to focus. There you go. That's a mid-firing position. But those rocket apparatus things, they were murder to put together, absolutely murder to put together. But we did it in the end, we got there in the end. So that's as much as we've done for the British contingent. What I will now do is I will put some of this stuff away, clear a little bit of space, and I will quickly show you what we've done for the French contingent. So I'll see you in a moment. Right, back with you again. I'm losing my voice now. As you can see, we've not got nowhere near as much stuff done for the French as we would like. But there's plenty of time. Plenty of time. So we have 3 battalions of infantry. The first battalion, if I can zoom in here, is a batch of Young Guard. And these figures are by Hat, and they're actually in, put my pencil down, they're actually in campaign dress. So they've got the great coats on. There you go. But they look quite good. They're quite nice figures. So that's a battalion of Young Guard by Hat. And behind them we have a battalion of Old Guard. And these are by Airfix. So once again, if I get this to focus, come on. Come on, you know you want to do it. There you go. It's true what they say. You give an average figure a reasonable paint job, and they're more than acceptable for what we want them for. So that's Old Guard by Airfix. And we also have a battalion of line infantry by Airfix. Again, not the greatest figures in the world, but more than acceptable for what we want them for. And you'll notice with these figures that there's no officer or musician or standard. That's because at the time I didn't have those figures to hand, but I now have masses of these figures, these Airfix figures, so when I have 5 minutes I will paint up an officer, some musicians and a standard bearer. But that's our 3 battalions of French infantry, and behind the infantry we have a job lot of cuirassiers, and these are the Airfix cuirassiers, which are not the greatest figures in the world, but adequate. I actually have some boxes of artillery and Zvezda cuirassiers here somewhere, so I think they're going to be better. But I had a mad fit of painting Airfix cuirassiers, and that's what came out. And I watched a video, going back to this, I watched a video on YouTube, and somebody was saying for the bases he used cat litter, crushed up cat litter, so I thought I'd give that a go, but it's far too rocky, and to try and get it small enough, it becomes very powdery, and to my mind not conducive to good health, breathing all that powder in. So it's not something I will be using again, but I'm going to leave these as they are now. I've come to the conclusion, if the seagulls will shut up for a moment, I have come to the conclusion that the only way really to do basing is to use filler. That's the way to go. And at the back there we have some French artillery pieces again by Airfix. But I have to say that Airfix cannons are absolutely no good at all. I mean, that to me just absolutely sucks. That's just no good at all. But I will say that I really like the gunners. I have a soft spot for the gunners. I think they turn out really nice. So I turn this fella around. Yeah. They really make nice gunners. So I'm going to be sticking with the gunners and finding some alternative artillery pieces. And this fella here, as you can see, he has a little pile of cannonballs beside him. And those are, believe it or not, they're out of birdseed. They were just the right size and colour. So I glued on a little pile of cannonballs from birdseed. But they're nice. I really like these gunners. I have a soft spot for these figures. Come on, you can focus. You know you want to do it. Come on. Will you focus? Will you focus? There you go. Almost. But I think you can see that more or less anyway. So I really like the gunners, but hate the cannons. I mean, you can even get away with the little 2-horse limber. I mean, that's not too bad actually. That's more or less usable. But it's just the cannons that I don't like. So we'll be replacing the artillery pieces. But that's as much as we've done for the French. See if I can pan out a bit here. That's our French contingent. As far as we've gotten with it. So there's still plenty more to do. More cavalry, more artillery. Another 7 battalions of infantry. Another 6 battalions for the British. Plus artillery pieces and cavalry and so forth. And probably some odd wagons here and there. You know, some supply wagons and stuff. And as we showed you the other day, we have a lot of flat pack buildings to put together. So, plenty to do. Looking forward to it. This is as far as we have gotten thus far. It all takes time. I now appreciate how much work goes into this stuff when you look at all the eye candy in the magazines and you see all these displays and stuff. You really understand all the work that goes into it. So anyway, hope that will show you as far as I've gotten. Sorry for the poor camera work and stuff. That's just the facilities I have here. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. We'll see you on the next one.